Who else is on that stage with the former vice president, with Bernie Sanders? You know, Andrew Yang, Kristen, oh, my screen just went out.
Greetings. Welcome to the Mind of Brandon. And welcome back to another Thursday Theory. Today we're going to be pondering the question, was there really a conspiracy against Andrew Yang at the Democratic debate? So in case you guys haven't figured this out, I am a Yang supporter. I noticed that he seems to share all the most progressive ideas that the other candidates have, but he also one-ups them with this plan for a universal basic income, or what he calls the freedom dividend. I'm sorry, did I say he one-ups them? What I should have said is he ups them by $1,000 a month paid out to each adult citizen of the United States. That's $1,000 a month that we don't have to do any additional work for. So whatever you're currently making at your job, well, universal basic income will stack real nicely right on top of that. So I think Andrew Yang is just objectively the best candidate running for president this election. The other Democratic candidates seem like they are roughly interchangeable. Main exception being Biden. He's just the worst.
The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy for it. Give me a break. Because here's the deal, guys. We decided we were going to change the world, and we did.
Really? I must have missed that part. It might have helped if that change somehow improved my quality of life. That probably would have helped me notice it better.
But this primary to me is not about policy. It's about beating Trump and bring honesty and integrity and dignity and truth back to the United States of America. Empathy, compassion.
No. I have no empathy.
Suffice it to say, when Andrew Yang showed up on the second night of debates and hardly said anything during that entire time, I was pretty disappointed. I mean, after watching a bunch of his interviews, I got the impression that he was basically a master debater and he just hardly said anything the entire time. But I knew it wasn't due to a complete lack of trying. Like, I saw him, trying to get in there, but then the moderators would say, oh, Gillibrand, you talk. Bennett, you talk, right? Anytime he tried to interject, they just went to someone else. And then apparently, after the debate was over, this happened.
And there were also a few times, FYI, where I just started talking, being like, hey, I'd like to add something there, and my mic was, not on. It's not like if you just start talking, it all of a sudden, takes over the convo. It's like I was talking, and, nothing was happening, and I was like, oh, So that happened a bit, too.
When they ask other questions, you should jump in to answer the question.
No, I agree, and again, there were times where I was like, hey, I wanted to make a contribution on climate change or education or other things, and my mic didn't work. Your mic's actually not on, and so I would just start talking, and then the moderators would just ignore it and doesn't matter. So the moderators have a fair amount of power and authority, including someone in production is turning on a mic or not. So I agree with you that I should be interjecting and making more contributions, and I'll certainly look to do that in the next debate. But there were at least a few times where I tried to do that tonight, where I quite literally felt somewhat it's sort of mechanically restricted, shall you say.
So people started speculating and concluding that it was all rigged, it's all a stage. There's a conspiracy against Andrew Yang or a conspiracy in favor of a particular candidate. Now, I'm really not much of a conspiracy theorist. When I come up against a conspiracy theory, I tend to be pretty skeptical, and that includes in this situation. Even though Yang is my guy, I want him to be president, I had to be kind of skeptical that it was rigged against him. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely had my conspiracy theorist moments, especially when I was a kid, where I was kind of a UFO nut, thought the government was covering up alien visitations or something. Oh wait, I just realized I should be wearing a different shirt for this video. Yeah, Sasquatch Syndicate. But yeah, I've definitely had my suspicions that the political system is just completely rigged. To the point where it doesn't even matter who we vote for, because it's already pre-established who the next president is going to be. Oh, wait. Yeah. Because regardless of, who our president is, whether they're Democrat, Republican, I've been noticing It doesn't seem to matter who we have in office. My quality of life never really goes up regardless of who the president is. Actually, shit, I guess I want you guys to be able to take me seriously. God damn it. But yeah, in all seriousness, it really doesn't seem like much actually changes from one president to the next. So even though I was skeptical of Andrew Yang's claim and the conspiracy theory that came along afterward, I decided I had to investigate it. So I went ahead and I rewatched the Democratic debate, and here's what I found.
That's how we beat Trump. We expose him for the fraud that he is.
Senator Gillibrand, 30 seconds. I disagree with both their perspectives.
And let's get a close-up on Andrew Yang there.
Perspectives.
So I noticed the same thing that a whole bunch of other people have been noticing. He's talking there, right? You can see his mouth moving, but you can't hear what he's saying. You can hear Gillibrand talking. You can't hear Yang. His mic is not picking up what he's saying. Is it off? Is it malfunctioning? Something's going on. You can't hear him. That being said, it's something a lot of people have been noticing. Joe Biden, up on the stage with Andrew Yang, apparently did hear him. But I kept watching the debate even after this part to see what else I could find, and I came across this.
We don't want corrupted capitalism.
Thank you. I want to be fair to all the candidates. Thank you. Senator Bennett, you have said, Senator Bennett, you have said.
Again, looks like he was talking, and we couldn't hear him.
We got to look to the leadership of local communities. Those networks of mayors and cities from around the world who have come together, not even waiting for our national government.
Oh, that's interesting. It looked like Yang just got done saying something. It was almost as if he was interacting with the moderator.
From around the world who have come together, not even waiting for our national government.
Now, in this particular situation, when the camera is on Pete Buttigieg, you can just barely hear Andrew Yang talking, but you don't hear it through Andrew Yang's microphone. It sounds like it's kind of off in the distance, like as if it's coming through someone else's microphone.
Those networks of mayors and cities from around the world who have come. Those networks of mayors and cities from around the world who have come. Those networks of mayors and cities from around the world who have come. Those networks of mayors and cities from around the world who have come together, not even waiting for our national.
Now, on the very few occasions where they actually addressed a question to Andrew Yang specifically, you can hear him just fine, right? His microphone appears to be working just fine in those situations, but for the rest of it, it's like it's not even on. That is sketchy as shit. But it turns out Yang might not have been the only person having mic issues that night. According to Marianne Williamson,
as much fun as I've had laughing at all the understandable, hilarious tweets about me today, the mic issue is not funny, and yes, it did happen. I tried a couple of times to jump in, and my mic was not on. Particularly wanted in on the subject of race.
Today, NBC News said at no point during the debate was any candidate's microphone turned off or muted. What do you say to NBC?
Well, I shared my experience directly with my supporters, and that was immediately after the event. There were numerous times when I had an idea or a thought or a statement that I wanted to make that was directly related to what was being discussed. And my mic did not function, and so I would talk. And then because other people whose mics were working would then begin talking off in the moderator, then I had no chance to make my points. And as you saw, I was only asked 2 full questions in 2 hours, which was lower than any other candidate. And that's why I end up with such low airtime. It certainly wasn't for lack of effort on my part, because there were many times when I thought I had a lot to add to the debate. And I'm thrilled I'm going to have another opportunity in July to make my case to the American people.
Yes, obviously at the CNN debate.
Well, hopefully CNN doesn't have the same vendetta against Andrew Yang, because it looks like NBC might be kind of full of shit. So you really have to ask, why would NBC have a vendetta against Andrew Yang? Or another question.
NBC is owned by who?
Comcast, our overlords.
Oh, look at that. Comcast is helping to fund Joe Biden's campaign. Day after Comcast exec holds fundraiser, NBC News exec joins Biden's campaign. Gee, it's almost as if Comcast and NBC have some kind of vested interest in Biden winning the election.
Lobbyists aren't bad people. Special interest groups are not bad people. But guess what? They're corrosive. People who accept the money from them aren't bad people. But it's human nature. You go out, Lynn, and bundle $250,000 for me, all legal, and then you call me after I'm elected and say, Joe, I'd like to come and talk to you about something. You didn't buy me, but it's human nature. You helped me. I'm going to say, sure, Lynn, come on in.
Andrew Yang is an educated, intelligent, successful, articulate guy that has all the answers in a debate. He wants to give us each $1,000 a month. He's stripping away at a bunch of the support that Trump originally had. Gee, it's almost as though Yang might actually pose some kind of a threat to Biden's candidacy. In fact, if he's allowed to speak and he's able to make it all the way to a one-on-one with Donald Trump, there's no good reason he shouldn't be able to beat Trump.
We need to nominate someone that is going to beat Trump.
Challenge fucking accepted!
Even Fox News, which is notoriously conservative, has had Andrew Yang on a whole bunch of times and given him a positive reception.
Dozens of profitable corporations paid nothing in federal income taxes this year. Delta Airlines, Chevron, GM, more. Some of them are even getting tax rebates they can apply later. It's a weird system we have. Our tax code is broken, but almost no one's saying anything about it. Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang is. So why are you the only candidate who's thinking through what to do about this? Andrew Yang, certainly the most interesting person running for president, and sounds like a great idea to me. I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Tucker. See you soon.
Remarkably, the political figure who is making the most sense on this subject, who has thought about it most deeply, is a Democrat who is running for president. He's Andrew Yang. He's an entrepreneur, and as we said, he's a Democratic presidential candidate. He says that artificial intelligence and expanded automation could potentially cause violence in this country, and that we need to do something about it right now. Andrew Yang joins us tonight. Andrew, thanks very much for coming on, and I meant that with sincerity. I haven't heard anybody in our political conversation describe the threat as clearly and compellingly as you have. You're one of the only people I've ever met who's honest about the effects of deindustrialization. I sit with my jaw open. I agree with you so strongly.
How can you say an economy is healthy when our people are dying? It makes no sense.
I literally couldn't. I don't even know what you think on the other issues, and I just support what you said so much. I appreciate your coming on. Thank you,
Tucker. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
You want to do universal basic income, and to prove it, you want to give people in Iowa $1,000 a day.
Oh, it's $1,000 a month. I should
sorry,
I couldn't afford $1,000
$12,000 a year, I should say. I correct myself. Andrew Yang, it's $1,000 a month, okay?
It is that.
Thank you very much for your time. We'll see where it goes. Thank you, sir.
But how does In Bed with Joe Biden NBC treat Andrew Yang?
Your signature proposal doesn't necessarily solve the problem. It feels like a Band-Aid. And I say this, your signature proposal, this universal income. If you're the nominee, I've seen people push either a fair tax or a VAT tax or a national sales tax. And every candidate that has tried to put it out there, if they win a nomination, they get eviscerated because somebody basically shows, hey, look at how much it's going to cost to take your kids back to school now. Look at how much it's going to cost to buy everyday products. How do you beat back, which has been a tried and true method politically to defeat national sales taxes, to defeat the VAT, things like this, where people see the initial bill, and I don't care what kind of refund situation you put in there, that does scare people.
Networks of mayors and cities from around the world who have come together, not even waiting for our national governments.
God damn it, let Yang speak!
Well, if you think what would happen to communities around the country if every American adult got $1,000 a month, it would create more than 2 million new jobs right there in our communities. It would help recognize the kind of work that my wife does every day at home with our 2 boys, one of whom is autistic. So it's not a Band-Aid. It actually supercharges our economy and helps create opportunities in the direction that we need to go, which includes the caring economy, arts, entrepreneurship, creativity, as well as Main Street jobs because of an increase in consumer buying power.
So you think one of the positive aspects about your plan is that if somebody wanted to pursue an art and really couldn't afford to make a living doing it, you're giving them an opportunity to do it. I get that, but how does that grow our economy?
Well, our economy right now is up to a record 20 trillion, up 5 trillion in the last 12 years alone. The problem is that we have these winner-take-all dynamics, that the gains are concentrated just in a handful of industries and companies and individuals. And so if you spread that bounty more broadly throughout the American economy, it does create opportunities, including in the arts, but also in entrepreneurship. And as you know, I'm a serial entrepreneur. We need to have more Americans being put in position to do the kind of work that they actually want to do.
You are getting and so if you want to help me you, then like vote me into office.
Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang.